Loopcommunity.com. Loopcommunity.com.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to our live stream today. It's August 7th, 2014. We're going to talk today about Looptimus and how to use that in your live performance. So hey, if you're watching, go ahead and type your name in. Grant, welcome from St. Louis. We're going to talk about Looptimus. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to type it into the comment box. Let me go and pull up our screen here. So we're looking at the Looptimus foot controller. So Looptimus was designed and built specifically for live performance and for worship leaders to make it easy to control your multi-tracks in a live performance. Basically, it's a keyboard for your feet. So what it does is it sends individual MIDI notes. Each of these buttons sends a separate MIDI note. And you can assign those MIDI notes in Ableton, Logic, MainStage, Reason, whatever. So we could set this button to be song 1, this one to be song 2, song 3, song 4, 5, and 6. There's 3 modes in Looptimus. There's default mode, there's program change mode, and there is pad mode. And we're going to talk about those 3 modes. Let me show you first of all default mode. So to get into default mode, which it's already by design in default at the beginning, but if you need to switch to default mode, you just hold the stop button down and you can flip through your modes. So let's go to default mode, hit the stop button to exit. We're in default mode. The way that it's set up is that you've got the next and previous buttons which change your bank. So there's 20 banks in Looptimus. And then each bank has buttons A, B, C, D, E, and F. And those are different in every bank. So if I go to bank 3, I've got A, B, C, D, E, and F. Bank 4, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And these all just send separate MIDI notes. So you can really use this in a lot of different ways, depending on how you want to use Looptimus. So let's just start with default mode. First way I'm going to set it up is, let's just say we want this one to be song 1, this to be song 2, this to be song 3, song 4, song 5, and song 6. So I'm going to go to Ableton, and let's go to Live Preferences. So I'm going to go up here and go to Live Preferences. And in Live Preferences, you want to open up the MIDI tab. And Looptimus should show up right on the list. You don't have to install any software. It's easy. It's plug and play. So I just have a USB cable plugged in, and my computer's powering it up. And I see Looptimus here. Track means if we're going to use Looptimus to actually play back things, which we will in pad mode, so let's keep that on for now. Sync doesn't matter with this device, and then remote, we're going to make sure we turn that on because we're telling Ableton to use Looptimus as a remote control. So make sure that's turned on. Grant says, do you still use any other foot controllers along with Looptimus? I use multi-effects for my electric. Any possibilities there? Yes, you can definitely. So, I mean, I use Looptimus to run your tracks, but you can also still use all your other pedals to do multi-effects for your electric guitar. You could use Looptimus to do both, actually. We're going to talk about that in a second with program changes. For example, you could tell this button to launch a song, but also change a program change in like an app like Guitar Rig or something like that. So you could actually use Looptimus to do multiple things. You could also plug in your electric guitar pedal into this MIDI jack, and Looptimus could, one, change the song, but also change a setting on your electric guitar pedal, like your delay pedal. So anyways, we're in default mode, and in Ableton, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, up here in the top right corner, there's a button that says MIDI. And when you turn MIDI on, anything that you see that turned blue can be assigned to a button on Looptimus. So, or any sort of external MIDI controller. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit MIDI, so it's all blue, and our first song is Lay Me Down. So I'm going to click on Lay Me Down and then hit this button. And you see that it assigned that MIDI note to Lay Me Down. Our next song is Only King Forever. That's button 2. This is Amazing Grace, button 3. Open Up the Heavens, button 4. Rock Won't Move, 5. And then our global stop button up here at the top of the screen is going to be this stop button. I'm going to hit that. That way I can always use this button to stop my tracks. Now the important thing to know about the stop button is this button is the same on all banks. So no matter what bank you go to, this same button works exactly the same way. It's gonna stop all our tracks. So now I can hit 1. It's gonna start song 1. And then I can hit 2 and it's gonna start song 2.
2, 3, 4.
I could hit stop if I wanted to. And then button 3 will start song 3.
4.
Stop, and then song 4.
Intro.
And you can always just reassign those easily by just hitting the MIDI button and then just click on what you want and hit the button you want. Now sometimes people will, instead of doing one song like that, what I kind of prefer to do is I put one song per bank. So Lay Me Down is going to be this button. Then Only King Forever, I'm going to go to bank 2 and it's going to be this button. This is Amazing Grace, it's going to be song 3 and it's going to be this button. And Open Up the Heavens is this one. So the reason I do that is just I kind of like to visually see that I'm on song 4 or I'm on song 3 or 2, and this is always just start the song. So another way you could do it is, if you notice down here at the bottom of this Ableton session, I've got my song broken up into sections. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to, let's just say Forever Rain is song 5. Then I'm going to make this be the click, this be the verse, this one be the chorus, this one be the interlude, and this one be the bridge. And this one be a blank scene. And I can close out MIDI mode, and I can use this button to start the click, this button to start the verse, and then this one will go to the chorus. And this one will go to the bridge, or the interlude, and then to the bridge. And then to a blank. And then I can go to my next song and do the same thing. So it really depends what your performance style is. So either you're going to be playing full tracks, or you want to jump around to different sections of the song. The important thing to know is that these are just MIDI notes. What's cool about that is really you can do just about anything with MIDI notes. You could be firing lighting cues. You could be firing lyrics in Pro Presenter. There's all sorts of stuff you could do with MIDI. So it's an open canvas for you, basically. So, alright, anyways, if you want to change modes, let's talk about program change modes. I'm going to hold I'm going to hold stop down, and now I get my modes. I'm going to go to program change mode. Let's hit stop. So program change mode works exactly the same way as MIDI mode or default mode, meaning you've got 20 banks, and all of these buttons work exactly the same way. They all send MIDI notes. But in program change mode, these buttons also can send program changes. So what that means is if you've got a guitar effect pedal that has like 100 presets in it, or you've got some keyboard that has 100 presets in it, and you don't want to have to scroll through on your keyboard to preset 30 and then all the way go back to preset 5 and then go to preset 10, whatever. You can have this fire a song in Ableton, but also change the preset. So to do that, you're just going to hold down this button for a few seconds, and now you get to choose what program change this button sends. So right now it's set to 5. So I could set this to whatever I want. It goes from 0 all the way to 127. So I could say go to preset 5 or 6, and then this button I want it to go to preset 15 or 17, and then this one is going to fire their third song, but it's also going to go to preset 25. So you can set that up. Now the important thing to know is that the USB jack and the MIDI jack are tied together. So the same data that comes out of both of these jacks, it's the same. So whatever's coming out of here is sending MIDI and program change. This is also sending the same MIDI and program change. So you could plug this into an electric guitar pedal. So this is controlling your computer in Ableton, and this would be maybe controlling an electric guitar pedal or some sort of other external MIDI device. There's tons of different combinations you could do. That's just one use example. So let me actually just show you how that would work. So I don't have a guitar pedal here, but I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a audio track. I'm going to go to Create, Insert Audio Track. And we're going to add a plugin called Guitar Rig, because we're going to run like guitar effects through our computer. And Guitar Rig has a ton of presets in it. And so these are all my presets, and I want it to automatically, when it goes to song 3, I want it to go to a certain preset. When I go to song 2, I want it to switch presets as well. This is also very helpful for keyboard players who maybe they want their piano effects to automatically change presets when you go to a different song. This is a way to accomplish that. So anyways, what we're going to do is, so if I hit button 1, let's go, hold on, let's go back for a second. I'm going to just kind of move this over. There's not much screen real estate here. The important thing to do, first of all, is turn on the record switch. And the other thing, too, I realized, is that this also needs to be a, I think this needs to actually be a MIDI track. Well, first of all, let's go and just set our MIDI. So our MIDI, this is going to be song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4. So we assigned those. Alright, so now what we're going to do...
intro, 2, 3.
Hold on. Let's go and add a MIDI track. I'm going to go to Command-Shift-T to add a MIDI track. And let's bring in Guitar Rig. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I haven't done this in a while, actually.
Intro, 2, 3,
Whoops.
4.
Hit stop. We need to tell it to come in, select MIDI from Looptimus.
Intro, 2, intro,
There we
2,
go.
3.
So you can
4.
see it actually changing. So it needs to be a MIDI track. And you need to make sure record is on. You need to tell it where is it getting the MIDI from. It's coming from Looptimus. So when I hit this button, it's going to start song 1, but it's also going to change to, let's check.
Intro, 2, 3,
It's going to change to program change 7. And this one's going to start
Intro,
song 2, and it changed program
3,
changes.
4.
This one's going to be song 3, and it's going to change program
Intro,
changes.
2, 3, 4.
Song 4, change program changes, and you can hit stop. So that's one way you could use program change mode. There's tons of ways and creative ways you could come up with different combinations to make that work. I'm going to show you another really cool feature, and that's pad mode. So let's just go to, I'm going to hold the stop button down, we're going to go to pad mode. And in pad mode what we did is we made it so the next and previous buttons here actually changed what key you're in. So we can choose a key. Let's just go to like the key of C. And then now we've got buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these buttons, what they're going to do is they're going to play the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, 5 chord, and 6 chord of the key of C. So this is, remember, this is acting like a piano for your feet. It's acting like a MIDI piano. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a MIDI track. I'm going to go to Create, Insert MIDI Track. And now on this MIDI track, I can rename it. We're going to call it Pad. And on this MIDI track, we can, first of all, let's enable it for recording. And we can put any sound that we want on there. So I can go to Sounds, I could go to Pad, I could just click and drag and drop. And now when I hit 1, it's going to play that sound of a 1 chord. Now the 4 chord. Now, again though, this could be whatever sound you want. Let's just say you want to put like a string on there instead. Now it's some sort of like weird string sound. It could be any sound you want. So I like to use a sound that I've got in a third-party plugin, and it's called Massive. Kind of just drag that on there. And Massive has tons of sounds in it. But we're going to use a sound in here called Summer Pad. And it sounds like this. So if you ever wanted to use Looptimus to actually do transitions between songs, or to kind of underscore while you're playing guitar and picking or saying something, you could do that. So you can also, if you hold down the next button, you can change your octaves. So if you want to go higher, let's go up. So that might be a little high. Let's go down. Let's go down like there's a lot lower. Let's go up one more octave. Or one more. You can hit the stop button, it'll kill all the MIDI notes. Also, if you hold down the previous button, you can choose your MIDI channel. So there's 16 different MIDI channels. The important thing about a MIDI channel is that if you had multiple devices, multiple MIDI devices plugged into a computer, like a keyboard, Looptimus, maybe another MIDI pedal, what you don't want to have happen is that you don't want them to conflict with each other, because they're all sending MIDI messages. So you wouldn't want like you be playing your piano and it does something that you told Looptimus to do. It would be conflicting. So you could set Looptimus to be on a different MIDI channel. You could set every one of your devices to be on their own MIDI channel. MIDI channels work in every mode, and each mode can have their own MIDI channel. So I could go back to, let's go back to default mode, and I could put default mode in MIDI channel 2 by holding this down and go to MIDI channel 2, and it's going to save and be MIDI channel 2. And then in program change mode I could have a different MIDI channel. So you can have a ton of different MIDI channels in that. So Grant asked another question, how do you make the chord sustain automatically in pad mode? What we're doing is it's actually just set up to sustain, so it should do that automatically for you. At least I think so. Let's go back to pad mode and try that out. So we'll go to pad mode and let's go ahead and put a sound on there like let's put like a bass, where like a bass wouldn't normally sustain. Like this. Alright, so actually you do need to set up whatever the sound it is. Whatever sound it is that you've got. Although I can't tell, I'm not sure if that's actually sustaining or not. Probably because it's just playing a sample. That's a really good question, actually, Grant. I thought that it automatically sustains no matter what pad you have on there. Because I'm not really doing much to make it sustain. I'm pretty sure that's what we programmed into the pedal, where it's on legato, which what that means is when you hit the chord, it's not sending a note off message, it just stays note on until you tell it to do something else. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's set up. So you shouldn't have a problem with that at all. I wonder what this sound is. It says matte LFO pad. It's kind of cool. Let's change the octave. It's a pretty cool pad. You could change the release on it and up the sustain so that it just stays going for longer. Anyways, another cool thing about Looptimus is it has an expression pedal jack. So let's go back to default mode. It works in all the modes. So basically you can take an expression pedal like this. I've got like an M Audio EXP, and we can just plug it into the back of Looptimus. There's an expression pedal jack here. You can also plug in a 9-volt power adapter if you don't want it to drain your computer battery quickly. So we've got an expression pedal. What we can do is we can now assign this to control any sort of volume. If we click on the MIDI button again, and then click on our volume fader, I can move this, and you see that it assigned that volume pedal to this master fader. You can also set the minimum and maximum. This is more of an Ableton tip. You can set the minimum and maximum for that fader. So I could set that fader to 0. That way it's never going to go above 0, which is important because then it won't peak. So I can hit play on my track, and now I can turn up and turn down by using this volume pedal.
Verse 2,
If I go all the way up to the
4.
top, notice it's not going to go past 0, which is very helpful. Bring it down, move it up. So this is cool. This is a very nice tool. Another great thing about Looptimus is you can use it to run your tracks in our app, Prime. So you can use Looptimus as well with like GarageBand on an iPad or an iPhone. All you have to do is just get an adapter like this. For the newer iPads, it'd be a different connector. Let me see if you can see that on the camera. It'd be a different connector on the newer iPads, but this is for the older iPad. And it just adds a USB jack. And you can plug Looptimus into this, right into your iPad or your iPhone, and then use this to control any sort of music app on your device. So I've used it with GarageBand to play pads. I've used it with our app Prime, and you can use it to play song 1, song 2, song 3, next and previous, stop. You can also, if you hold down this button, we have a feature called All Access Mode. I forgot to talk about this. All Access Mode is a bank that you can access from anywhere. So the reason All Access Mode exists is, let's just say that you wanted to go from, maybe you were in bank 7, but you had some controls all the way down in 1. What you don't want to do is, like, when you're in song 7, you don't want to have to like scroll all the way down to 1, do your thing, and then go back to 7. So what we did is we just created a bank that you can get to from anywhere at any time, and all you do is you hold down the next button, and it brings up the All Access logo, and now this is a bank that you can access from anywhere, and you can assign these MIDI notes to anything you want. Then as soon as you hit the next or previous button, it will take you back to the last bank that you were on. So you could be all the way up at bank 17, go to All Access Mode, do your thing, and then hit this, and it takes you back to bank 17. All Access Mode is a very helpful feature. So I'm going to roll some music. If you have any questions at all about Looptimus, go ahead and type them in here, and I'll try to answer them.
1, 2, 3, intro. One, two, three.
So you could be all the way up at bank 17, go to odd. So I'm gonna roll some music. If you have any questions at all about Looptimus, go.
One, two, three, chorus.
All right. Well, hey, so if you're interested in Looptimus, you can go to looptimus.com. Let me go and pull that up here. If you go to looptimus.com, there's a bunch of videos that show you more about what we talked about: MIDI notes, program changes, pad mode. You can download the instruction manual.
1, 2, 3.
You can watch video tutorials, common questions, and you can order it. It's $2.99, and we're actually shipping them this month. Grant has a question. He says, does Looptimus save presets after you turn it off? Or do you have to program it again every time? Yes. Looptimus does save your presets. So, all you got to do is do all your stuff, and then it will save when you turn it off and plug it back in later. Good question.
One, two, three, chorus.
All right, well, thank you for coming today. If you have any questions at all, hit us up on loopcommunity.com. Check out looptimus.com. Order your pedal. We'll ship them out this month in August. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being a part of Loop Community. Talk to you soon.